Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today we're diving into something fascinating about one of NASCAR's most polarizing and talented drivers, Kyle Busch. Now, the title says conspiracy, but let me be upfront with you. This isn't about tinfoil hats. It's about patterns, decisions, and questions that fans have quietly wondered about for years. So grab a seat, hit that subscribe button, and let's explore the story nobody seems to be talking about together. First, let's set the stage for anyone who's new. Kyle Busch is a two-time NASCAR Cup Series champion, a driver known for raw speed, fearless aggression, and an undeniable will to win. He's racked up over 60 Cup victories, placing him among the all-time greats. Love him or hate him, he commands attention every single race weekend. Understanding his greatness is essential, because the questions we're exploring today only matter because of just how good he truly is. So where does this so-called conspiracy begin? It starts with a simple observation that longtime fans have made. For a driver with such overwhelming talent, Kyle Busch's championship count feels strangely low. 2 titles for a man with 60-plus wins? That math doesn't quite add up. And when something doesn't add up in sports, curious minds start asking questions. Today, we're going to walk through those questions calmly, honestly, and with respect for the facts. Let's look at the data first, because numbers tell stories. Kyle Busch has finished as runner-up or near the top in points, many seasons where a title seemed within reach. He's led laps, dominated races, and then somehow come up short when it mattered most. Statistically, drivers with his win totals usually collect more championships. This gap between dominance and trophies is the foundation of everything we're discussing. It's curious, and it deserves a closer, fair-minded look. Here's where things get genuinely interesting. NASCAR's playoff format has changed dramatically over the years. The win and advance elimination style system rewards consistency under pressure in very specific moments. Some argue this format actually works against drivers like Busch, whose brilliance shines across full seasons, rather than single elimination races. Is it a conspiracy, or simply a system that doesn't favor his style? That's the honest question we should be sitting with as we continue exploring this. Think about it this way. When NASCAR introduced the elimination playoffs, the entire definition of a champion changed overnight. Suddenly, one bad race in the wrong week could end a dominant season. Kyle Busch has been bitten by exactly these moments more than once. Critics wonder whether the sport's evolving rules have repeatedly placed him at a disadvantage. It's not necessarily malicious, but the pattern is real, and patterns are exactly what spark these kinds of conversations. Now, let's talk about perception, because it matters more than people realize. Early in his career, Kyle Busch was cast as the sport's villain. He was bold, brash, and unapologetic. NASCAR, like any entertainment product, benefits from heroes and villains. Some fans theorize that Busch was quietly positioned as the antagonist to elevate more marketable, fan-friendly stars. Whether intentional or not, this narrative shaped how broadcasters, sponsors, and even officials seemed to treat him over the years. Sponsorship is the lifeblood of NASCAR, and this is where business meets the racetrack. A driver with a villain reputation can be a harder sell to certain brands. Some believe this affected the resources and opportunities available to Busch at key moments. Remember, even the greatest driver needs a championship-caliber car. When we follow the money, we start to understand how off-track forces can quietly influence on-track results in ways most fans never see or consider. For years, Kyle Busch drove for Joe Gibbs Racing, one of the sport's powerhouse teams. During that time, he won championships in countless races, but team dynamics are complex. With multiple talented drivers competing for the same resources, internal decisions can favor one driver over another. Some fans wonder whether Busch always received the absolute best equipment, strategy, and support. These are fair questions about how even legendary organizations distribute their precious championship resources behind closed doors. Then came a moment that stunned the NASCAR world. After years of success, Kyle Busch and Joe Gibbs Racing parted ways. The official reason centered on sponsorship struggles, but many felt there was more beneath the surface. How does a two-time champion lose his ride over funding issues? This departure reignited every theory about how Busch had been treated. It felt to many loyal fans like a puzzle with several missing and unexplained pieces. Let's dig into that departure honestly. The story goes that a key sponsor couldn't continue, and a replacement couldn't be found in time. But here's the curious part. Kyle Busch is a marketing dream when positioned correctly. The idea that no sponsor would support a future Hall of Famer raises eyebrows. Was it truly just bad luck, or were there deeper currents at play? We may never know fully, but the questions remain genuinely worth asking. Now we reach a sensitive topic: officiating. Over the years, Busch has been involved in several controversial calls, penalties, and judgment decisions. Some fans have compiled moments where they feel he received harsher treatment than others. To be clear, officiating in any sport is imperfect and human. But when a pattern seems to repeat against one specific driver, fans naturally start to notice. We're not accusing anyone, simply observing what passionate followers have documented over time. Media coverage plays a massive role in shaping legacies. Watch how Kyle Busch is often discussed compared to his peers. The framing frequently leans toward controversy rather than celebration of his historic achievements. Some believe this consistent angle has subtly diminished his standing in the eyes of casual fans. A driver this accomplished arguably deserves more reverence. The way stories are told, the words chosen, and the moments highlighted all quietly shape how we remember greatness. Here's another fascinating wrinkle. Kyle Busch dominated NASCAR's lower series so completely that the rules were eventually changed to limit how often Cup drivers could compete there. Think about that. A driver was so good that the sport adjusted its rules partly because of him. Some see this as a backhanded compliment, while others view it as evidence the system actively worked to contain his dominance. Either way, it's a remarkable testament to his extraordinary talent. So, let's step back and connect everything we've covered. A historically great driver, a surprisingly modest championship count, a playoff format that seemed to work against him, a villain narrative, sponsorship mysteries, officiating questions, rules changed in his honor. Individually, each item has a reasonable explanation, but stacked together, they form a pattern that thoughtful fans find genuinely hard to ignore. That's the heart of this conversation, and it's why people keep wondering. Now, in fairness, let's consider the counter-argument, because trustworthy storytelling demands balance. Maybe Kyle Busch simply raced in an era stacked with incredible talent. Maybe the playoff format affected everyone equally. Maybe his aggressive style naturally invited more penalties and controversy. Sometimes the simplest explanation is the truest one. Greatness doesn't always equal championships, and luck plays a bigger role in sports than we like to admit. These reasonable explanations deserve equal weight in our discussion. Through it all, Kyle Busch has carried himself with remarkable resilience. He rarely complains about being treated unfairly, instead choosing to let his driving do the talking. There's something inspiring about that. Rather than playing victim, he keeps showing up, keeps competing, and keeps chasing wins regardless of the obstacles. That mindset is a lesson for all of us. When the system feels stacked against you, you can still choose to keep pushing forward with dignity. This story is really about more than one driver. It's about how we measure greatness, how systems shape outcomes, and how perception can become reality. Kyle Busch's journey reminds us that talent alone doesn't guarantee fair treatment or deserved recognition. Life, like racing, isn't always a level playing field, but the people we admire most are those who persevere anyway. That's the truly inspiring takeaway hidden inside all these questions and theories we've explored today. Why does any of this matter to us as fans? Because asking thoughtful questions keeps the sport honest and keeps the conversation alive. Honoring a driver's true legacy means looking beyond surface narratives and digging into the full story. Kyle Busch deserves to be remembered accurately, with all his brilliance and all the complexity surrounding his career. By exploring these ideas respectfully, we celebrate the athlete while staying curious about the world that shaped his remarkable journey. So what do you think? Is there really a Kyle Busch conspiracy? Or just a series of unfortunate coincidences in a brutal, unpredictable sport? I'd genuinely love to hear your honest take in the comments below. Drop your theories, your evidence, and your perspective. If you enjoyed this thoughtful deep dive, please like, share, and subscribe for more stories like this. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.